Hello and welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel for another video, guys. And today we are going to be going over our injury list, which unfortunately has got significantly longer following that brilliant win against Real Sociedad. Yesterday it was so happy, it was so vibrant, we were in such good spirits after finally ending the curse of the Anoeta, but today we have been brought back down to reality. Ousmane Dembélé is injured once again, and in this video we're going to be going over that injury in a lot more detail, how long he's going to be out for, whether this injury is a correlation between his last serious injury. We're also going to be looking at the other injured players currently on the list. Iniesta has a few problems. Coutinho, of course, we need him back as soon as possible right now. Umtiti as well, Paco Alcácer, and a small problem as well to Nelson Semedo. So all of the injury problems in one video. It's not the one that I enjoy making, but it is some news, of course, that we do need to keep up with. And here's to hoping that these guys can get back as soon as is possible and get back on the pitch, showing what we all want to see, because all of these guys are very talented. We all want to see them wearing the Barça colours and staying fit. But we are going to start with the very disappointing news that did filter through this morning from the FC Barcelona site. Official news it is, confirmation from Barcelona that Ousmane Dembélé is officially injured. He has a problem with his left thigh. He suffered another hamstring injury and he will be out for between 3 to 4 weeks. Very, very crushing news, and it really is difficult to deal with, especially as a young player when you're coming back from such a lengthy injury. He's got that big transfer fee hanging over him. He wants to go out there and prove himself, prove that we should have signed him, that he is the man that we bought and that he does have all that quality and more. But once again, struck down by yet another injury. He came off the bench yesterday on the 65th minute mark. He played around 25 minutes at the Anoeta, and in that time he did suffer another injury that is going to keep him out for possibly another month. What I will say about this one though, and the only positive from this Dembele news, is the fact this new injury is nothing to do with his old one. This is not a relapse, this is not a problem that has stemmed from his last injury. This is a completely separate issue, something that he picked up in yesterday's game. A few people saw him clutching his hamstring area. That was a problem yesterday, and that's what's going to keep him out for between 3 to 4 weeks. So exactly when is he going to be able to get back on the pitch for Barca? Possibly he could be available in La Liga against Getafe on the 11th of February. That would be very, very ironic. Dembele could return from this latest injury setback against the team in Getafe, that in reverse fixture, of course, he got injured for several months back in September. Obviously, this does mean that he will be back in time for our first leg against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge on the 20th of February. But obviously, at that point, is he going to be match fit? Is he going to be ready for that kind of high-intensity game when he gets back from this latest injury? Even before, from the last serious injury that we suffered, we were saying he'd probably need about a month to get going again, to get fit and be ready for that Champions League game, firing on all cylinders. So with this latest injury, is he going to be able to get back for that game and show his highest level? We're going to have to wait and see how he recovers. But the most important thing, as we've always said with Dembele, do not rush back. Do not make any effort to skip any corners. Make sure he's recovering. And if he does return in that game against Getafe at home, he will have missed 5 games in all. He'll miss both ties of the Copa del Rey last 8 stage against Espanyol. He'll miss Real Betis away from home, Alaves at home, and Espanyol away in La Liga. So not colossal games there. We won't miss him entirely, but obviously we wanted to see him in the team. We wanted to see him playing for Barca, being on the pitch again and integrating himself into this squad, because we're desperate to see what he can do when he's fully fit and fully ready in this team. And unfortunately, that time on the pitch once again has been cut short by yet another injury. And now on then to Andres Iniesta, and once again, following yesterday's game, even more disappointing news, which does relate to Iniesta. He didn't play any part in yesterday's game simply because there were severe injury concerns about including him in the game itself. He was on the bench, so he wasn't completely ruled out, but Valverde and his medical staff were very, very cautious yesterday about including him, just in case of aggravating what he currently has, which is a right calf problem. Barcelona officially say that it's not a serious injury, but they haven't put any time frame on his return right now. They say that his return will be assessed in the coming days, how he recovers from this calf problem, and he is likely to miss potentially that game on Wednesday away from home in the Copa del Rey against Espanyol. We don't want to rush Iniesta back. We certainly don't want to aggravate the injury. We're going to need him in the biggest games to come this season. We desperately need Iniesta fully fit and fully ready, and for that reason, if he's not right, don't play him. And fair play to Valverde yesterday. At the time, we didn't know why Iniesta was left out, but obviously if there was a concern, if there was a problem, it was absolutely the right thing to do, and hopefully Iniesta can recover in the best possible way, and we will see him back on the pitch very, very soon indeed, if all goes to plan. And now on then to Philippe Coutinho, and that is the really big talking point, because obviously with Dembele injured, although Coutinho cannot play in the Champions League, he will be of use in the league, especially not only Dembele being out, but also Iniesta having some fitness issues. We need Coutinho back now to come into this team and give us some life, and certainly give us some quality as well. He is recovering very, very well indeed from the hamstring injury that he suffered when he was at Liverpool. He's carried that over since his transfer here. He was expected to be out until the end of this month, but he could make some appearance in the game at home against Alaves on the 28th of January. He is aiming to possibly get back for that game. If he doesn't make that one, he could make his debut away at Espanyol in La Liga on the 5th of February, which of course would be a visit to his former side. He spent some time on loan at Espanyol, but he is targeting certainly coming back at the end of this month, and at the very latest, the very start of February. So hopefully Coutinho can get himself back on the pitch as soon as possible. We've seen some pictures of him recovering. He's certainly been doing us all in training, trying to get back as soon as he possibly can, and we really do need him right now. He will be a massive addition when he does return. And then of course there's Samuel Umtiti, who also is recovering very, very well indeed. He also has a hamstring injury. There is a number of muscle injuries right now in the current squad, whether it's something to do with the training or whether it's something to do with recoveries. Something is not right now with the amount of muscle injuries, and certainly hamstring injuries as well, that we are suffering this season. So many different types of injuries and lengthy spells out of the team as well. Samuel Umtiti, the really good news, is ahead of schedule for his return. When he was initially injured in that 2-2 draw at the Camp Nou against Celta Vigo at the start of December, it was expected that he wouldn't return until around the first week or so of February. Right now though, he is definitely ahead of schedule. Last week he even appeared in part of the training session with the first team in the full session, so really, really impressive recovery. We wouldn't expect anything less from the great wall that is Samuel Umtiti, but right now he is expected to possibly again target that game against Alaves at the end of the month if he does continue his road to recovery as he has been doing. But like Coutinho, if he doesn't quite make that game at the end of the month, Espanyol away from home in La Liga at the very start of February would be a good benchmark and would be a possible game that he could return in, and we are very, very excited to see him back on the pitch. Vermaelen in his place, though, to be fair, has been absolutely sensational, so it's going to be really interesting to see what Valverde does when Umtiti comes back, because before Umtiti got injured he was by far our best centre-back. Vermaelen's been brilliant. Could Piqué's place in the team be under threat? Valverde has got some really, really big decisions to make, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And then we move on to Paco Alcácer, and there has been a bit of confusion with Alcácer's injury, because when he originally got injured in December against Deportivo, he basically had a muscle injury in his left leg, yet another muscle injury. He was expected at the time to be out for around 3 weeks, and he was expected actually to make his return, Barcelona officially said, against Levante at home, which wasn't last weekend but the weekend before that. So Paco Alcácer is a bit behind schedule. He hasn't returned quite as quickly as maybe the Barcelona medical staff were expecting him to be, but like Umtiti, he did appear also last week in some of the training sessions, for part of them with the first team. So that's good. He's going to get back soon. I think in the next sort of week or so we'll be seeing Paco Alcácer take part in those full sessions, probably get the medical green light, and he is one that should be definitely back in the next week or so. He could potentially play a part in the Copa del Rey game at home against Espanyol, which will be on the 25th of January. So that game for me is probably a good estimation of where Paco Alcácer is right now. He is training a little bit with the group. He should extend that as the week goes on. He should get more and more fit and hopefully be integrated back into full training with the green light. Paco will certainly be a good addition to the squad. Before he got injured, he was certainly contributing. He can certainly play in the front three and give us some good attacking options, and with Dembele injured, that's certainly what we need right now. So looking forward to seeing Paco back. Hopefully that happens sooner rather than later. And last but not least, we move on to Nelson Semedo, who did miss yesterday's game completely with an illness. He had some tonsil problems before the game. He was ruled out of the squad. Vidal was called up, and obviously Semedo therefore playing no part against Real Sociedad. Unfortunately, he's also missed this morning's training session with that slight illness, but he is in contention to be involved in the week against Espanyol. We play away from home on Wednesday in the Copa del Rey. Semedo should be back for that game. This is absolutely nothing serious at all. It's simply some some problems with his tonsils. He'll be back very, very soon indeed, but didn't play any part in training this morning, and hopefully he will return in the coming days to full fitness. So that is basically the latest right now on the 6 different players currently occupying our injury list. It always seems to be the case, you know, we hit some good form, we have some good results, and suddenly we're brought back down by some injury problems. Dembele out, that was a real blow to see that this morning, something I really wasn't expecting. Hopefully Iniesta is back within the next few days if his recovery goes well. Coutinho should be back at the end of the month, same goes for Samuel Umtiti. Paco Alcácer should be back in the next week or so, and Semedo is just an illness, he should also be back in the coming days. So hopefully these injuries don't bog us down too much, we can still continue on the kind of form that we have been showing in recent weeks. But obviously Valverde once again is going to have to do some problem solving, but this season so far we've seen that he's very calm and very good at dealing with these kind of situations. He'll have a plan, and in that we can firmly trust him. So leave your thoughts down below, guys. What are your thoughts on Dembele's injury? How sad are you to see that once again he's injured? Real blow for him. I feel so bad for him, and I wish him all the very best in his recovery. Let me know all your thoughts and all your opinions down below, guys. The Q&A face reveal video will be up on the channel later on, and thank you as always for your support and your excitement as well. It is nice to see some excitement ahead of my video. I'm really excited to show you guys what I did film when I was in Barcelona. So that video will be up for you later, guys. I will see you then, and more videos coming soon, of course. But until then, as always, Vesca el Barça! 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 Barça!